Hello, I'm Jacqueline Stewart, coming to you from the Weston Game Lab at the University of Chicago. Thanks for joining us here on TCM. Each year, the Librarian of Congress adds 25 new movies to the National Film Registry. The purpose of the registry is to showcase the range and diversity of American film heritage to increase awareness for its preservation. The new additions to the National Film Registry were announced on January 29th. I have the privilege of serving as chair of the National Film Preservation Board, a group of filmmakers, archivists, scholars, and critics that advises the librarian on possible titles for the National Film Registry. So I'm especially delighted to introduce and celebrate tonight's selection of the newly chosen films. Up next is a classic the Library of Congress describes as, quote, perhaps the last great musical of the golden age of Hollywood. From MGM in 1956, it's High Society. As many TCM fans know, the film is a remake of the 1940 MGM hit, The Philadelphia Story. But instead of Philadelphia, the setting is Newport, Rhode Island, during the Newport Jazz Festival. Grace Kelly plays a socialite who is about to marry a businessman played by John Lund. But then ex-husband Bing Crosby shows up to complicate things. And all the while, reporter Frank Sinatra is there to document the proceedings. Like its predecessor, High Society is a lively and fun movie, but with an added bonus of music from the great Cole Porter. Another musical bonus is jazz legend Louis Armstrong, who plays himself. The film is notable in that it marks the last big screen performance by Grace Kelly before she retired from acting to marry Prince Rainier of Monaco. In fact, by the time this movie was released in theaters, she had been a newlywed for 3 months. Although Grace Kelly was already an Oscar winner for 1954's The Country Girl, which also starred Bing Crosby, High Society brought her something that no other film did, a hit record. She sings a duet with Crosby called True Love, which earned an Oscar nomination and eventually sold enough copies to go platinum. High Society was directed by Charles Walters, who started his career as a choreographer. He continued in that role once he started directing. And although he did work with other choreographers later on, Walters does double duty as director and choreographer here. Here's the film, newly added to the National Film Registry. From 1956, also with Celeste Holm, Louis Calhern, and Sidney Blackmer, High Society. High Society received 3 Academy Award nominations for the year of 1956, but only 2 were for the film we just saw. You see, there was actually another film with the same title in theaters around that time, but released a year earlier. It was a comedy starring Leo Gorcey, Huntz Hall, and the Bowery Boys, and it received a nomination for Best Story. Its writers wanted to avoid confusion between the 2 films, so they decided to decline the nomination. They figured, correctly, that many voters would assume that the nomination was for the musical you just saw. For the record, our version, with Bing Crosby, Frank Sinatra, and Grace Kelly, was nominated for scoring of a musical picture and for original song, True Love, with music and lyrics by Cole Porter. Don't go away. Up next is one of 4 documentaries that have been named to the National Film Registry this year. Its subjects are gospel music legends Willie Mae Ford Smith and Thomas A. Dorsey. Say Amen Somebody is next on TCM.
Next on TCM, Say Amen Somebody, then Before Sunrise, and later, 10 Nights in a Bar Room. It's Last Call on TCM tonight.